To care deeply is to risk hurting deeply. And in this video, I want to talk about this concept in my mind of the double-edged sword of good coaching, because it's something that's really been on my heart a lot lately that I've been trying to navigate through. So I'm hoping that through this video, a little bit more organic, less scripted, that I can help navigate how to become a better coach and also help parents look for signals of what I think makes a good coach as well. And this double-edged sword of coaching, the concept is that a good coach must care deeply. So much so to the point that there will be times that the coach cares more about the person they are working with, more about the athlete in this case, than the athlete cares for themselves. And it sounds counterintuitive because we were taught, oh, it has to come from you. Like, you need to want it. You need to be driving internally. Yes, absolutely. You have to put in the effort. But I think that a key point of having a strong support network, a strong support system, is surrounding yourself with people who want you to win more than you do. Who want you to win as much as you do on your good days and more than you do on your bad days. Because the coaches that we have, the support system that we bring into our lives and our children's or kids' lives, our athletes' lives, the reason that support system is there is not to simply acknowledge them when they're on their highs. It is to lift them out of their lows. It's absolutely to encourage the highs, help sustain the highs, also manage the highs. But it's to bring them out of the lows, to make the lows less severe and more short-lived and less frequent. And to do that takes caring. And I drew up this graph because it helped me bring it to a visual where the yellow line here is the coach's belief in the player. And the blue line is the player's belief in themselves. And the reason that I think that this is so important is that, one, the yellow line is always above the blue line. And I fundamentally believe that needs to be true if you were to have a coach in your life. Because if they do not have a bigger vision for you than yourself, they have no space in your life to help you to grow. And the reason we bring coaches into our lives is to help us to grow faster. So if you feel you've outgrown your belief or your coach's belief for you, that's a signal that relationship with that coach needs to end, because they will be pulling you down. And what I love about how this visual is drawn up is that on the left, say at the beginning of the relationship, the gap is huge between that coach's belief and the player's belief. And I think that that's where the real transformation comes in, is over that time where that gap narrows, but at the same time it's still growing. The coach's belief for the player grows, the player's belief for themselves grows even faster. And it comes to a closer understanding of similar belief in that player. It's hard to see, but this is where the work happens. Because as the player sees the same vision that the coach sees for the player, they're more bought in, they're more coachable, they listen, they're more open to changing what they are currently doing, with the belief that what they change and what they do will bring them closer to that vision that their coach has for them. And I want to share Alex's story. Now, Alex isn't the real name. I just want to keep their name anonymous for privacy's sake. Not that it's a bad story, but At week 1, Alex shows up. And I remember him, he came in, he was kind of lost, he didn't know what he wanted. Well, he thought he knew what he wanted. We kind of went through this first phase of like, yeah, you think you know what you want, into almost like a little bit of a valley of you don't actually know what you want. Your wants come from what you think other people want. And it was really after that he started to transform. He put on weight, he was feeling more confident, he felt like he was playing better. His consistency shot up. Even the way that he spoke on our calls started to shift. He was, the camera was on. He was looking at the camera. He didn't have to chase his thoughts and stutter as often. It was really impressive to watch. So then when the question came at the end of our first 12 weeks together, are we still doing this? Where are we going? What does the map look like for you in the future? I was so shocked to hear that he said he was done. And when we started to talk about why he was done, I was actually shocked. I was trapped in my own belief. I thought, how? Over the last 12 weeks, we've put on more than 12 pounds, over a pound a week. You said you're feeling better than ever, more confident. You've been nominated for awards on your team and across your league. Like everything was really, really clicking for him. And I couldn't understand where things went wrong, where I'd fallen short. Because I really cared about this athlete, Alex. And when he started to speak about why he decided our time had come to an end, it was actually because he was done pursuing hockey. And it was very hard for me to understand at first, because I thought, well, as a coach, as a hockey coach, I'm supposed to make you bigger, better, faster, stronger, more explosive, more clear, better decision making, influencing all of those things so you can get to the next level. We're there. What's going on? And he said, I'm done hockey. But the way that he said it completely shifted how I viewed myself as a coach, because I was thinking about hockey. I wasn't thinking about him as a person. And when he said, I'm done with hockey, I don't actually want to pursue junior. I'm ready to start university. I've applied. I'm excited to go. And sure, yes, what he said came as a shock. But the way that he said it was even more surprising. He was so confident, he was calm, and he was convicted. And he knew that the decision that he had made was his own decision. And I think that that's why he was so much looking forward to it. His goals were now his own. His pursuits were for him. And I was proud of him that I got to be part of that, really part of that transformation. And it completely opened my eyes that, yes, we are using hockey. We want to make better athletes. But if we stop there in terms of our caring, in terms of how we view our relationship with athletes, we're doing them a disservice. We're falling short. Because they're people first. So the realization for me was, yeah, our working relationship is over for now. I understand. But he got everything he needed. It was a win for him on the personal side, even if it wasn't necessarily tied to hockey. So when we look at the coaches that we look to bring into our players' lives, how do we measure the quality of a coach? Do we look at their success by, the level reached? Do we look at how we push them towards certain outcomes or destinations? Is the coach's ego tied purely to the player's advancement? And I think that that's easy to measure. Yes, which is why we measure it. When we look at advising agencies, how many advancements have they made? How many players have they placed? Yeah, that's important when we're looking at just a snap of a track record. But it's not the full picture. Because with Alex's story, he didn't advance at all. Does that mean he didn't succeed? For him to come in and not know what he wants and not feel confident, to leave confident and convicted that he has made the right decision to pursue university, how is that not a win? So when we look at our coaches, it's harder to measure, I know, but measuring the coach's success by the personal growth, building the person so that they're built for any pursuit, any destination, not just to be a good athlete. And instead of ego being tied to maybe advancement, what if we tied, I don't even like using the word ego, but what if we tied results and, say, conviction of success to clarity? So anytime we're looking at coaches, maybe it's the head coach, maybe it's the GM, maybe it's the future coach, maybe it's the skills coach, power skating, maybe it's me, the remote development coach who's planning the strength and conditioning and nutrition and coaching the habits and working on the mindset and the frameworks and really building this person who is built for adversity, who is also good at hockey. I think it's important we ask ourselves, does this coach care about my players' growth, or do they simply care about their own track record? And I still think about Alex often, and it's not because I failed him, but it's because of how he taught me I can view success differently. Because the goal wasn't necessarily the next level. It was the next version of Alex that he was set out to become. And that's it for this video. I appreciate you watching. If you're enjoying this type of content, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. Thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next one.